this isn't exactly even a moral condemnation. This isn't a moral condemnation. This isn't a moral condemnation of any kind, really.
Homeschoolers can't pronounce words. What can we say?
Shit, now that's funny. Now I have to leave all my stuttering in. Hello and welcome to Talking to Tomatoes, the podcast where we research and look into the fundamentalist children's media we grew up with, not just for the quality, but the stop voguing, but for the pernicious propaganda behind us. This is already our second take. I don't need more distractions.
Stop
I
oppressing me.
I am
This
Eric
is my
Everly.
culture. And I'm Jubilee Runway Alexander.
Today we got a slightly different one for you. As you know, the real tomato heads know, we've been enamored with the. So the story is that in our pursuit of not giving Focus on the Family any money to listen to their radio show, we found a fan site that hosts episodes of the podcast where Focus on the Family brings out or gives away free episodes
Yeah.
of that. And in a weird rabbit hole wiki follow the trail links, Jubilee found her way to a site of some sort of vaguely Christian media conglomerate thing called Blimey Cow. Then proceeded to have several nervous breakdowns on air on
I
stream.
I was inconsolable and did a very bad job during my recording because I just kept being like, holy shit. It's actually almost impressive how long these brothers have been making content because like I feel like on TikTok I'm like this person has been operating the studio since 2022 and these people have been pretty reliably making content since 2006. Um
I'll fight you. Oh God, Blimey Cow is one of my one of my top 6 visited websites right now. I was opening a new window to look something up.
it's like this this
Ugh.
this cowhead over here really wants to.
Oh God. Anyway, so we decided in the process of looking into all of this because two episodes ago we looked into their one of their very first things they ever did, which was a very short-lived, very guerrilla filmmaking. Is probably giving it a little too much credit,
Guerrilla
but
filmmaking. They're standing in their front lawn of their
they're,
parents'
they're
house.
standing in a cul-de-sac with a handheld camcorder, doing stuff. But a series called Jesus Man, and then it was just like we got to look into these fellows more. So Blimey Cow is the original creation of Josh and Jordan Taylor, two brothers from Nashville, Tennessee. Later added on by their wives Kelly and Sarah Taylor. And they are an internet comedy duo to quartet who have been doing stuff since 2005. So this is 20 years of this is the 20-year Blimey Cow retrospective.
Hell yeah.
They're kind of a something I'm going to get into a little more later is it's like obviously with some of their first stuff and the fact that they've been featured on, the 700 Club and the Christian Post,
Oh.
whatever that is. There's always been a religious element to some of their stuff. They'll do skits and things that have things to do with church and youth group and youth pastor goofiness and stuff like this, homeschooling and conservative life and stuff like this. But it's very odd in these sort of recent years. It is a very unreligious organization, which I mean maybe that's just them trying to maintain sort of broad popularity or something. But
I wonder if there's like I wonder if there is a element of like cultural outreach that is being attempted through that. Is it a shameless we're trying to get as many clicks as possible? Like I mean it could be all of these things and they could just be that, but it is interesting that something would become in a tiny way it's almost like refreshing to see someone getting less religious as they go along while still clearly being well, that clearly still being personally important to them, their content seems to be less so, which I guess is a good thing.
Yeah, their main channel has almost 500,000 followers. You know, 130 million lifetime views for the Blimey Cow YouTube channel. That's not bad. They were doing their internet videos, sort of thing, and then in 2012 they had their one of their bigger successes, which was a video called Seven Lies About Homeschoolers, which by today's standard, it's not that impressive, but remember this is 2012, where the video got 1 million views within a week, and now currently sits at about a little over 2 million views, and then it got them, featured on a bunch of stuff, and is where things kind of took off.
It was a strange video because I remember pointing out when we looked at their older stuff that it felt very much like they were writing comedy for like their community in a way that seemed to put the comedy first, which is kind of the current issue with modern conservative and religious comedy, is just that it's really like trying to aggressively push a message. And this I felt like was kind of at war with itself a little way. The analysis that we're putting onto this 12-year-old video is hilarious.
Yeah.
But like it was very heavily making fun of homeschoolers and like using, but also I kept waiting for them to be like, this isn't true, while giving a bad defense, and that was just the kind of the just what it felt like the joke was, because they kept being like, homeschoolers are shy, that's not true, and then they did a 10-second vignette where a homeschooler was being incredibly shy, and it's like, no, that's not true, that's wrong, and I'm like, okay, I don't really understand what's.
To step outside of their specifically criticism of this, I actually have a big problem with that kind of like whether it's like articles or videos or whatever, where we're like jokingly debunking myths, because for this exact reason, it is really hard, apparently, to stay consistent in the are we making fun of the subject by doing bad defenses, or are we making fun of the critics by giving bad attacks? And if you mix those two, then the video, then the it becomes very
You get this
confusing.
video,
Which is absolutely what they do.
which is probably gives everyone something to sort of grasp on. Like if like I'm very critical of homeschooling. I think it messed me up in a pretty big way. And so there are aspects where I'm like, yep, I used to cry when people would talk to me in public, like ha ha ha. And then people who are like aggressively pro homeschooling are like, yeah, we're not all like that. You know.
Yeah, and I was sitting there going like, yeah, kind of. What do you mean we have to come out of our shell? No, we don't. We don't. Yeah. By the way, it wasn't just Jubilee. We were all of our family was homeschooled from.
We were a weird twin experiment where I was homeschooled and he was.
Yeah, twin studies.
Hey,
Super
look what
unethical.
happened to me.
The channel is what it is. Had a very a weirdly kind of slow ramp up. Anything is, I guess, kind of feels slow if you drag it out over 20 years. But so that's a little bit about Blimey Cow. I guess we're not exactly a docu-series or anything, so if you want to learn more, go.
Part one of 75 of our deep dive into everything they've ever done.
They've ever done. So we're kind of do. We've dove into the weirdly diverse fields of products that they have they have looked into, and started and stopped at some times, and then restarted. I guess it's like there's a part of me that's a little bit like nervous, because I kind of don't want this to be mean and like personally attacky. But I kind of don't know how it's not going to seem like that, because
We are making fun of it, but like it feels weirdly both like an in and an out group criticism in a way, because we absolutely grew up as homeschoolers, and I think them being maybe a little less pernicious than a lot of the things that are like, it's very easy to draw a line between focus on the family's political and cultural project being towards moving like having real life effects today and moving America towards theocratical autocracy, and then these guys are just kind of making goofy videos and they homeschool and are think they're about 20% funnier than they actually are. We're going to try not to be mean. I mean, we're not going to make fun of their appearance. We're not going to call them, yeah, like, I don't know. We're
Yeah,
going to do our best to be critical without being personally mean. They're not going to get a rest in piss salutation at the end of this, is what we're saying.
Exactly. There's not a lot to talk about because I wasn't going to join it to do. But one of the first things that jumped out at me because it sort of felt outside, so I was like, oh, let's go do this. Is the homeschool with us
God damn
social
it!
social network?
Oh,
Oh, I took one of yours.
oh, no, coward! You didn't sign up for it. I did.
Okay, you take it
Okay,
away
I
then.
take it away. Okay, there's a 3-day free trial period, but they have already emailed. I signed up for it about 4 hours ago, and they've already emailed me saying you're about to be charged. So we'll see if I get charged by the end of this. But I signed up for what is possibly one of the saddest resource amalgamations forums. I didn't download the app because they already have they already have
Too
my
much
email
information.
address. But like, okay, I'm gonna pull this up. Yeah, it's like a forum that's really just an amalgamation of links, and there is a single moderator in there who's I mean, there's probably more than one moderator, but I'm not kidding when I tell you the main page has like 4 posts in the last 6 months or something. It's an
Ooh,
extremely dilapidated. People are commenting, and the same moderator is keeping the discussion going everywhere they can. It's just there are entire categories of guides.
because yeah, I
Pause,
mean
pause, pause.
it's sort of sold as a non big tech, non Facebook social network for people who are homeschooling, who are going to be homeschooling their children to connect and share resources and ideas and stuff like that. I mean, I suppose not the worst idea in the world, but yeah. So I'm the coward. So to tell us a little more about what's in there.
Ah, oh no! I just found something where it's telling me that there are people in the town I live. I wish it didn't know where I was. Oops. Because I have some location on. Gonna get invited to the weirdest threesome ever from some free love homeschoolers.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because again, everything, at least in my understanding, in homeschool is there's kind of like these two like categories of people who homeschool. There is the ultra conservative, like religious. We need the government is trying to brainwash our children. Uh,
Quiverful people, dominionist people.
yeah, those kind of people. And then there are people who are like Vigo Mortensen and Captain Fantastic, who are just like, I don't trust the system. For more like political, like philosophical reasons rather than like religious ones. And because there's not like an outwardly facing like Christian element to this, though I suppose almost nobody is going to find these people and this social network without knowing who these people are and going, oh, they are clearly, at least definitely, if you're going to pick one of those two homeschooling groups, they're going to lean towards the religious. The site boasts nearly 200 members, which was just like,
This literally tells me where everyone. I mean, it's probably part of the profile. There's no one in this state except for one dude in my town. So I'm gonna leave this group very quickly once this is over. Oh, this is still the memes one. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. I was trying to find more interest. There was a memes group which was very embarrassing. It
just,
was like
I mean, are they homeschooling memes? Or are they,
homeschooling memes. All right, let's pull up some of the top memes. There's some ugly hippopotamus, and it just says ready, willing, and vaguely competent. One like. It's so embarrassing.
I mean, it's nearly 1% of the entire social network. If this
That's
were
a good
Facebook,
point.
that would be like 200 million likes.
You can have kid. Also, the I almost did download the app because this is a nightmare to inhabit. There's we got a SpongeBob meme, three down. There's a confusing one which is homeschooling girls. Great, love a good girl diss. How I thought it would be. It's two pictures that look like they're from the same show, and maybe they are. I don't know what show this is supposed to be,
Is
but
that
it's
little? Is it
how I
Little
thought it would
Women?
be. I think that's little. That looks like Little House on the Prairie,
Or
and
that's
then
that. Sorry, that's what I meant. Little House on the
and then
Prairie.
there's an angry-looking woman, and someone laughed at that. Oh my
Anyway,
God.
we could talk for literally seconds about this 200-person social network, but
Yeah, it's just this was the one thing. This kind of pushed me over the edge towards being like, I mean, it's only $3 a month, and I will be canceling before they charge me that. But I'm also just like, this is nothing. It's like there were some of these groups have gone years without having any posts in them, and I'm like, you still have that credit card link active, huh? Like, interesting.
you're specifically saying like this sort of feels like a scam kind of a thing, like
Yeah,
they're
I
sort of.
mean it. I
And
mean,
here,
weirdly, it's a scam because there's no content there, not because it's pointless, like grinding content, or there's, you get in on the $3 one, and then there's like higher tiers to go into. So that's like the only reason I'm kind of like, yeah, this just feels like you've probably got four people, two of which's main job is just editing content and running social media, and then the wives are probably taking care of the kids because that's how Christian
yeah,
families work.
I mean, I had that first thing too of like, oh, this feels like a scam. I mean, it's certainly to me not going to be something that is ever going to be worth $3 a month. Certainly not something that you like stay a part of, like kind of a thing. But then I'm also like, 200 users times $3 a month. That is $600 a month, split two. I mean, we'll say two ways because it's two separate families. That's not exactly like high quality, like grift. Like just it feels like something that was thrown together in a weekend, and when someone figured out how to like add a forum section to a Squarespace website, and they created a credit card link, and then they just forgot about it,
Yeah.
sort of a thing. But which we'll go into sort of a bigger criticism of like them as we get a little bit further in, with this example. So as I think we mentioned before, but I definitely started noticing it and was like, what is going on here? There is a word that is constantly misspelled throughout the thing, and it is the word messages, spelled with a Y, like MESSYGES. And so I literally kept like marking. I was like, it's misspelled on this page, it's misspelled on this page. What is wrong? Is this a thing? And then of course I was like, I've got to look into this, and it is a thing. Jordan, I think, was the one who did it. Had like a weekly, show that where he would answer questions that has a very odd schedule. So, it was vaguely like weekly, once a week, once every other week, once a month. From 2006 to 2010, they made 17 of these videos.
Hmm.
Then it shut down for a couple years, and then between 2012 and today, they have made 111 of those episodes. Which I was like, okay, that's like I think I did the math. It's slightly less than one a month. I might check that math on me. But then on their fandomwiki.com wiki site, somebody had put out the way that these were released, which was like, oh, between June 2012 and August 2000, it was every other week, and then for a couple of months it was every week. Then there were from 2016 to today is episodes 88 through 111. And I'm like, what is with this? I mean, that's not even getting into the content of some of these, which while I haven't watched them, they do have a list of all of the episodes, and they starts out with goofy stuff like dumbbells and chick flicks, Jordan's hair, stay in touch with your relatives. It's like him answering questions, and I'm like,
Sure.
okay, it gets weird as you go along. Episode 34 of the second of season 2. How do I hug a boy? Episode 70. How do I have a crush on 15 girls from church camp?
Hmm.
My
Like
episode
20.
82. Grandma stole my password and blocked all homeschoolers.
Go, Grandma.
Okay, yeah, good job. My episode, the final episode that's currently listed here is episode 111, which says my dad hates my girlfriend because he caught us ... And Here is the one thing that I'm going to. I don't know what to do with this, but the episode 110, the question says, I'm 21 and kind of dating a 15-year-old. I love her. Now, that's clearly a fucked up situation. And do we need to go and should we go and look at this to try to find this to feel like if he's like, hey, that's a fucking felony.
Actually, I think let's pause the actual recording and go look at that.
Okay, we actually just paused everything because I didn't read all of those titles and we did some research. They've actually done a lot more of these.
Yeah, the YouTube had like 250 episodes
Yeah,
as
I
opposed to
guess
the.
they need to hire someone to keep up their fandom.wiki. But so yeah, it seems like a lot of these. It's like this is like an advice segment that they were doing where people send them questions, but a lot of them are very weird questions. And to be fair, sometimes they like it. Considering the sort of
What do you mean by weird there, Eric?
I'll tell you. There's a lot of, hey, I'm 21 and I'm talking to a 15-year-old and I want to wait for her to be old enough to get married. But does that seem weird? And to their credit, he is maybe even coddling him a little bit too much. But he's like, you need to stop talking to this person until like at least until they're 18, which in the world of religious based grooming, that's actually like
If you don't know, a lot of homeschooling groups are seriously like having like early 20-year-olds dating 15 and 16-year-olds. This was a really common thing in several of the groups that our homeschool organization orbited around.
yeah. So this is like a very common an unfortunately common at least topic to be broached. And so to their credit, sometimes they have this like, stop talking to her, don't mention this to anyone, because like I was fully expecting them to be like, keep it to yourself and just be your friend. I'm like, no, that's you're describing grooming.
They were describing going above and beyond. Like, not only is it weird, it's even weird to talk about. You should shut up about it.
Yeah, but then there
Um,
were other ones where they were like, where there was like a still it was I think it was like a 19 and like a 17-year-old, and they had some weird things to say about society today. People wait too long to get married. What the fuck are you talking
yeah.
about? Like,
What? Excuse
what do
me.
you mean? What do you mean? I don't remember that one. Well, I mean, I can pretty much guarantee that in that one, the older person was the man in that relationship, and the
Yes.
child was the girl. But yeah, it's very weird. And
75% of these are about like they're weird because they're either we are specifically focusing on the ones that I think the reason we zeroed in because we were because of the history of these homeschooling groups very much being around church sanctioned child like adults dating children and adults marrying children in some cases. Like we went straight for those and we were okay, but a lot of the other ones are just as strange because they are filmed in the standard way where someone's got this big ostentatious podcast. It's Jordan? That's a
Jordan's the one doing the messages. Yeah,
but like you hear the staff, which I'm sure is just Josh in the background, like laughing nonstop at these questions because they're awkward, two they're not edited well, which is like they're leaving typos in and they're like making fun of the grammar. Then they're giggling at the comment. I mean, I personally got pretty offended by one where they could not get through a question about polyamory because it just seemed like this insane question to them, and I'm like, the Bible is like 80% polyamorous people. Like,
and how many wives did Abraham have? Let's just look at that.
oh, a whole bunch. It's crazy to imagine someone. Yeah, but
It's like
it just
let me just jump in here real quick because it's like I have actually like noticed in like the world of podcasts, the leaving the staff like the crew laughter in is becoming more common.
yeah.
Some of these videos are 13, 11, 13, 15 years old, so in some ways they're ahead of their time.
Ah,
uh
okay. I guess that
And
was a
another
several-year-old video.
and in other ways they're extremely extremely behind the times. Yeah, one of the videos they're talking about like young marriages, and they're like pop and grandma were dating when they were 15 and 13. We're like, yeah, and Graham also couldn't, own property until she had been married for 45 years. So yeah, maybe
Yeah.
maybe we don't idolize those relationships in that way.
What I was saying while we were doing this research is a lot of them kind of destroy. I mean, they use the word destroyed a couple of times. Like, I'm going to destroy you for asking a weird question. Is there's a place for that? Like in modern, a podcast that I listened to for a very long time and very much enjoyed was Slate's Dear Prudence became a podcast, and there are people that write in to get destroyed because they need to hear that advice. Like
They need
it is
some.
a thing where you're sitting there going, I know what the answer is. I need someone in a position of authority to confirm, or I've just been thinking too long because they'll be so blindingly obvious that you're like, did you really? I mean, there was a Dear Prudence where someone was describing like withholding money and like emotional support and then like disappearing on their family as punishments for their bad behavior. And then now Danny Lavery was like, you are a piece of shit, and I think you know that. Like, you need to fix your behavior and get help and quit doing these borderline and actually criminal things to your. So
Yeah,
I
and
guess there's a place for that, but it feels very strange to make a almost entirely sex and romance based Christian write in advice show as feeling
yeah, it,
very
it feels it
strange.
feels a little, yeah, like they're trying to solicit because and some of them come from like some of the other ones that we didn't really dive too deep in are just like there's a boy that I like, but we are too young to be dating, or like our parents say we're too young to be dating. What do we do? And I'm just like, you guys are adults. Like you're mid 20s to late 20s to early 30s men. I don't know if this.
Having, yeah, children write in about their, granted, very complicated, like, I mean, we were homeschooled Christian teens trying to navigate the I like this girl and we're not allowed to date. Like, that question provided a lot of frustration for me as a child, but I also wasn't like writing into a Christian advice content
Yeah,
creators to be like, will
it
you
feels
answer the
weirdly fishing for like information about. I don't. Even that feel. I don't want to say they're, but it feels like a weird soliciting sex and romance questions from children in this way that is not like we are like like professional educators who are like mandated
That's
reporters
what
and all this
then
stuff.
that was the line I was trying to figure out. Like, well, what's the difference? Like, who are these kids supposed to write into? And it's like
Yeah,
probably just not people that have a website. It should probably be educators. Now, I can't
yeah.
imagine that there are many useful. There, yeah, that advice has always fallen on very deaf and very horny ears for me when I was dealing with all of that.
So we're gonna kind of take a step back for a second and say that this is now this little even this additional piece of research is, I think, showing a greater problem with Blimey Cow. And I mean, this isn't exactly even a moral condemnation. This isn't a moral condemnation. This isn't a moral condemnation of any kind, really.
Homeschoolers can't pronounce words. What can we say?
Shit, now that's funny. Now I have to leave all my stuttering in. Which is inconsistency. This that the Jordan's Messages was like 17 episodes over years, and then it's like less than once a month. Even with this small group, they're not getting enough questions to do a monthly or every other weekly kind of a thing. The very first, what is credited on their sites as their very, very first project was a series called Brother Brother Time, and I was like, I was like, whoa, we should look into that. And they're like, 20 years later, and we are on our third season. Like, what do you mean 20 years and 3 seasons? That is like what happens? I mean, I guess in some ways that if the answer is we ran out of ideas and then 13 years later it was like, hey, that was fun, we should write some more stuff, and they sit down and they write some stuff or what. But 20 years and 3 seasons does not feel like enough.
And like, I mean, you and I have started multiple creative projects, and yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it
but
is a message inconsistency and a production inconsistency that now seems to be leaning into making more content rather than making a higher quality. Like we commented on how much we did sort of enjoy their old content because we're like, oh look, you're making humorous things for for your parents, your parents' Angel Fire website that they email all of their church friends and like, look how creative our boys are being. But now in 2025, they're compiling romance questions from children to make a YouTube series where they kind of make fun and giggle at the questions.
they take the yeah, a real advice thing where they take the questions very unseriously. Do I still have it up? Because speaking of the messaging inconsistencies, so one of the things I think, the other things that I found in them was another podcast that is made by Jordan, called the If Then podcast, and it kind of seems like a very, very generic learning and information and like self betterment episodes like Boredom, Our Brain's Biggest Secrets, The Power of Being Present, Master Anything Faster. These are just like titles of episodes and stuff just from their website, that all of they're all like these sort of a very modern, and again, not at all religious based podcast. And I will give them credit. My knee jerk reaction to their logo was, wow, that is an absolutely ass backwards logo. So the logo is a brain, and it's the kind of top curve of the brain says then, and then the bottom part is if, which I'm like, you literally wrote your logo backwards. Like, what are you talking about? However, the other option is, the base of the brain is like the brain stem. That's where like your basal functions and stuff are controlled, and then the sort of what we call intelligence is more based in the other thing. So I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that maybe sort of works out. Which, okay, and I mean, from the looks of this, there's like 10 episodes listed on the website, and then just randomly on this thing, there is a page that is Jordan is going to teach himself how to code so he can make a video game, like make a video game. And I was like,
Oh,
oh,
that's
okay,
a
cool.
cycling game thing?
Yeah,
What the fuck?
it's 12. It's a blog entry. There are 12 entries between June 7th, 2022 and July 22nd, 2022.
What are these guys doing? They're just
I mean, in some, again, it's one of those things. In some ways, I can like relate to that. Like, but it's like there's this very, I don't know if it's just they've been on too long and they're like, everything we do has to have like has to feed into this the machine of Blimey Cow.
I wonder if they're like trying to do a McElroy thing, trying to be like Christian McElroy
Christian
brothers.
McElroy's or something like that. God, Jordan, why do you have this website? I don't want to become your friend when I have no idea what this website. Let's keep in touch. I don't have social media, but I have an email newsletter. Let's be friend. Nope. What's your next thing that you found?
Oh, my next thing I found is Blimey Cow.
God damn it! You
Okay,
keep
we
stealing my. Damn it! You keep stealing my. Stealing
yeah,
my things, but
sorry.
I didn't
Um
think we each needed 3 separate ones. This is already probably going to be our longest episode yet. So.
yeah. So, BlimeyCon is in Nashville, Tennessee. I don't think it was actually in Nashville. Doesn't matter. Lebanon, Tennessee. This year is okay. I literally the second I realized that the messages miss Aegis was spelled wrong, I'm like, why don't you just call them moosages? You're freaking Blimey Cow. Come on, moosages is way
That's so
funnier.
much. I mean, I guess it's messages because they're supposed to be messy, but
Oh, I didn't catch that.
okay.
Well, I guess they're too clever for me. Yeah, there's a very
They have a con and you don't, so maybe back up for a little bit.
maybe I need to get back and learn from my betters.
Tell us
All
about Blimey
right.
Con.
So Blimey Con this year is gonna be in August in Lebanon, Tennessee, featuring such things as the Blimey Cow Thrift Store Prom, which is them just like I genuinely watched the whole video and I didn't understand what I mean, people that are this obsessed with cataloging every single creative thing they've done, like I have no doubt that they could probably get 100 people like from the local area to travel to just this again. It seems I don't really know what they do. They did a live episode of Messages, but they also commented that it was really awkward to do in front of people.
Oh
There's
yeah,
a
where
prom
where they literally do it with the audience behind him because he's too self-conscious. He said he was feeling so self-conscious he didn't want to like sit on a stage and perform for an audience. So they literally turn him around, have the camera, and then there's, I don't know, 100, 150, maybe 200 people behind him. Every single person who's on the Homeschool with Us social network came.
yeah. I
But
recognize some of those. No, not really.
I'll be there next year.
That would be so fun. Well, I even signed. I was briefly like, you know what? If this is funny or entertaining or something, I might like create an online persona because I signed up with my middle name, which sounds like a classic good girl. I've got some cute pictures at a distance, so maybe they're not going to exactly clock me.
I sort of expected that this was going to be like one of those, those things you sign up for a newsletter or sign up for tickets and they like immediately start sending you stuff. And they did like, because I signed up for the newsletter for BlimeyCon because first off, because it looks so small, I didn't realize initially that it was a thing that they've been doing for at least 1 year before this. But it sounds like this is a regular thing that they do. But they weren't flooding me with sign up for this, sign up for that, or everything. So yeah, there's just this real scattershot approach to things.
Did you catch that there is swing dancing lessons at this con?
No, I don't think I would testify to that, but I did see things, and I'm not going to make fun of white children dancing, but
I am.
it's it's white children
it,
dancing.
it is more extremely like, yep, you were 15, 16 in the early 2000s, where, I mean, we were going to weird swing dancing nights in 2001,
Yeah,
something like
2000,
that.
2000, yeah, early 2001, I think, and stuff. But yeah, it does. I'm just
We
like,
all
yep.
watched, we're all sweaty in the basement watching Swing Kids, which is a movie I should revisit, but
Wearing polyester suits and
oh my God. And fedoras, don't forget the
tr-
fedoras.
trying to pretend that fedoras ever
None of
looked
you
good.
better think that we are cool.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
Don't you dare think
Um,
we're cool.
yeah, this was this.
This was a little more fun at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah,
It kind of
we
got
went
a
into
little.
this with joy, and it got a little heavy because I wasn't just remembering our awkward teen years viewed through the lens of homeschooling. It kind of became like, oh, yeah, right, the predators who didn't go after us, and so it's a little easier to forget about that those people exist. Which, to be fair, I'm not. I hope this is clear. We're not accusing these guys of anything like that.
They are what they are doing that is problematic is that they are like it's just it's just suspicious and weird. And if again, no reason to think they are, but they're not doing anything, but they are encouraging just like dialogue like this dialogue between unqualified people and children about the weird puritanical the weird clash between the puritanical way they were raised and just the way
The
what it
world
feels like to be a
is.
fucking teen, the way the
Yeah.
world is, what it's like to be a teen. It's weird to have non-professionals doing this level of communication, and it comes from a background from a pernicious background that I'm not a fan of. And it's like it is like the best case scenario is just they're soliciting questions from soliciting is a strong word, but they're they're farming questions from their underage viewers to get sex and romance questions to make fun of is the best case scenario, and
That
that
feels weird.
sucks.
That feels weird, man. It's one thing if they were silly college kids, but they've been doing this for 20 years. These are men in their late
They're a
30s.
couple years, yeah, they're a few years younger than us, it seems.
Yeah, and this is yeah.
And before we go, we were joking that there's probably no chance that anyone who follows Blimey Cow has listened to us make fun of them for an hour, and especially as it turned a little bit darker. But we just wanted to provide for people that Eric and I have done a lot of unpacking and a lot of living to get rid of a lot of the shame from being raised in the way that we were, which is very similar to just like the weird sex stuff that the whole messages thing was seemed to be about. But if there are any people that are still struggling with that, I have a confusing recommendation to make. There is a creator on TikTok that I love her content. Her name is Jubilee Dawn. It's at Jubilee Dawns. She does a series called Youth Pastors Go Wild, where she gets her adult followers to submit questions about insane things they heard from their youth pastors and, youth pastors dating their students when they are adults and the students are children. And she's got a couple podcasts. Look her up on TikTok, Jubilee Dawns. It's called Healed Ish. And it's just she makes really good content. And yes, it is very confusing that she's the more popular Jubilee, one of the more popular Jubilees on TikTok. I'll get
Yes,
there.
yes. We'll get there. So yeah, I think we're a little shaken by this this episode. It was supposed to be a fun, goofy
Yeah.
deep dive into this thing, and boy, sometimes when you go diving in the ocean, you find at least some gross fish, if not actual monsters. So we're gonna get back to doing Odyssey stuff here for a little bit starting in 2026 here. In the meantime, you can follow us individually or follow us on all the socials or individually on TikTok. I am Eric.Eberly on TikTok.
And I'm Titan of Joy.
Talk to you later, tomatoes.
Um,
Do we do the
Hold
Chris
on.
voice?
Okay,
Oh.
hold on. No, I've got something. And I'm Chris, and our user washed in the blood of the lamb says I'm a shallot and I'm dating a green onion. Is that a problem?
Get out of here.